Hello and good morning. It's video 940. Um, Sometimes I feel like make a video. It's really for my own therapy, I think sometimes, but um, just want to talk about some stuff I'm encountering. To begin with, a number of landmark um, bills were passed and signed into law yesterday in Florida. Four of which, uh, well, they were all anti-gay, anti-LGBT bills, but two of them basically are kind of making being transgender illegal in the state of Florida. Doesn't matter what age you are, and it's very scary. It's very scary. I'm feeling somewhat. You're my son. What is it, Bucky? Um, I'm feeling somewhat frightened. Not frightened, but like I live in Indiana, and Indiana is like Texas without the Cowboys, I guess. I don't know. Like Texas is uh, kind of this rugged individualism. Things are better, bigger in Texas, and you don't mess with Texas. Kind of has this. Indiana is just like vanilla. Indiana is um, quiet, kind of reserved, like white people, and they're the same assholes. They're just not as they don't have that rugged. Like Mike Pence is from Indiana, put it that way. Um, you know, um, but it really kind of like I'm bothered by much um how easy it is for a group of people to get together and you know pass legislation that is so out of touch with reality. The the author of the bill that got passed, one of the co-sponsors, I guess I should say, I think is the correct term. He and another Republican Florida representative got together and created this bill. And in the interview that, because they celebrated it when they signed the bill, they have this woohoo party. Yay, we're oppressing people. Um, but when asked about it, he said something to the effect of, well, we're dealing with evil. We're going to stop this evil in its tracks. Or, I don't know, it was something like it immediately put this just apocalyptic, uh, you know, the idea that somehow you can make a law and you're no longer going to have gay people. You're no longer going to have transgender people. Like um, it reminded me somewhat of prohibition. We're going to ban alcohol, and you know, it's going to cure all of our ills. Um, it's human nature. It's natural. It's natural. Uh, Making a law is not going to do anything other than annoy. And in the case of transgender people are like the most suicidal uh, on the planet. I mean, transgender kids. I mean, again, suicide, and it's so mind-bogglingly weird to me, the idea that one person thinks they can control someone else. Like they can dominate someone else's free will, remove free will, and say, you're not gay, don't be gay anymore. Reminds me of, I think, in the first season of South Park. I only know like the first few episodes of South Park. I'm sorry to say, um, but when Stan, his dog, he had a gay dog, and he kept on saying, "Don't be gay, don't be gay, don't be gay." The dog kept on finding these pink neckerchiefs. He's like, and Stan would rip it off. He's, "Where do you keep finding these? Don't be gay." And that's kind of the, don't be trans, don't be trans, don't be trans. You know, we're gonna exist whether the law is there or not because we're already existing. We're already here. And the idea that if you don't talk about it, all it's doing is making a group of people that are uncomfortable with transgender people more comfortable because they don't have to see it, they don't have to hear about it, they don't have to, you know what I mean? It's like it lets them keep living this false dream that everybody's the same, everybody's Christian, and um, it's this reality that, or it's this made up world that it allows them to have their own prejudices and their own da da da, and not be challenged by reality, not be challenged by humanity, you know. Uh, and it just blows my mind that someone thinks they can pick up a pen and write this law, and suddenly there's no more gay people because we don't talk about them, or whatever. There's no more transgender people. Um, and that the cure for transgenderism is to let people have access to mental health professionals, medical professionals. I mean, the cure for gender dysphoria, in my experience, is to transition. It's to be allowed to be your authentic self. It's to be allowed to talk to a mental health counselor and figure out for yourself what you want to do and how far do you want to take it? How far do you what do you want to try to help you out? You know, um, the answer is not to remove access to those tools that are going to help you out. You know, there's no way I think to cure transgender, but there's there are ways to alleviate some of the pain and some of the frustration, obviously. So I think it's kind of like, you know, it's scary to think that there's a group of people who just feel like if they do this law, it's gonna, solve their problem. I mean, these politicians have made a career out of scapegoating problems. You know, they're not gonna fix the potholes that you drive over. Because they'd rather divert your attention. These transgendered people, these gays, these immigrants. You're still gonna hit the pothole. You know what I mean? As you hit the pothole, you're gonna be, oh, but at least there's no transgender people that I can see. I mean, it's such a weird. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to me. But, um, I saw a picture. There's my son making all the noise. Um, I saw a picture of Jazz Jennings as she is. It was a fairly recent picture of her, probably less than a year old, you know, and it gives me some hope for the future, having giving a child access to mental health, counseling, and medical stuff, puberty blockers and whatnot. You know, again, it's not a perfect fix because I don't think there really is one, but it is so much better. It is so much better. There's so much less stress and frustration. You know what I mean? It's the same way as, if you didn't have access to eyeglasses and, you were just forced to live, yeah, I'm nearsighted. I can't see. Well, sorry, you can't drive a car. Oh man, but I got to go to the store. I need groceries. Well, you're just gonna have to walk, you know. But we were smart. We came up with these things that let us see. Ah, you know, that's this is the equivalent of transitioning. You know, if you have a lot of money and access to LASIK, you might get like your eyes LASIKed, which is a temporary solution for some people, but it's a solution. You can wear glasses if you want to, or if you don't, fuck it. Say I'm not gonna wear glasses or contacts. I'm just gonna not see very far. You know what I mean? But that argument about you're messing with God. God made you that way. Da 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 da. Same thing applies. Well, why do you wear glasses? Well, so I can see. Well, I transitioned so I can live. Same thing. Um. So anyway, so it does concern me. I think there will always be places. Um. There will always be places where transgender people can go. Um. Places, and some of them like I think Minnesota, Colorado, Minnesota. There are states that are like, if Florida is like the Antichrist, states like Colorado, Minnesota, different states are going to be transgender refuge states, and they're not going to be, like Vermont, Connecticut, Virginia. Um, you know, we could move to these states, these sanctuary states, and eventually, as even in Florida, okay, in Florida, eventually, this idea is gonna die out because it can't be sustained. Um, you know, as much as uh, you know, there are gay people in the Republican Party right now. There are homosexuals um, in the Republican Party who are masking, you know what I mean, like hiding their homosexuality because it's a normal, natural thing. And like I said, it's natural. It's human nature. It's not, um, it's I don't know. Princess Leia says to Tarkin, the more you tighten your grasp, the more systems will slip through your fingers. You just can't you can't eradicate it. As much as this law about making transgender people illegal, you can't you can't you just can't eradicate it. You can definitely make life difficult, but I do believe a day will come. Um, as I've said before, Gen Z and whoever comes after Gen Z, Gen Z is the most diverse, educated, knowledgeable, inclusive generation, and these kids are not going to tolerate it. So for the Republicans, keep bullying, bully away, because Gen Z is not gonna. You're bullying Gen Z. Period. You're bullying Gen Z's friends, and you're bullying Gen Z that gay and non-binary. You know what I mean? Eventually, when the bully is old and decrepit, and the people that you bullied are in control, you know, the writing's on the wall. But for the moment, it is very scary. It is very frustrating. So I will say that's kind of going on. The other thing for me is that I have developed what I am calling uh, kind of like chronic blahs. You know the blahs? Like I had a roommate who told me about the blahs. There's just there are times when you just don't feel like doing anything. You feel blah, and I've kind of developed chronic blahism. Um, I've noticed in the last couple weeks, maybe the last month, uh, I just have not felt excited or passionate about anything. And I talked to my therapist about it, and I don't remember what she said. I think maybe she said, "Well, we all feel that way from time to time." I can't remember. But that's something I've felt with lately. Usually, um, I have a game that I'm playing, or a hobby that I'm interested in, or something, and I feel like I've reached this plateau of just not necessarily not caring, just not. I'm not, and it might be my medication, because some medication, behavioral medication, um, it removes the peaks and the troughs, the highs and the lows. Like if you were bipolar, and you get very 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 happy and very 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 sad. You know? And some medications remove the lower band and the higher band. So instead of being I'm really really happy, or I'm really really angry, sad, depressed, you're kind of in this middle. You know, well, I'm not super happy, but I'm not really really depressed. I'm just blah. And I think that's kind of maybe where I'm at, because my medication, I did stop taking it for a little while, because I just got lazy. I didn't refill it. Just stupid. Uh, so I had really deep, reactions, and I think my, like I said, those emotional bands have been taken away, and so I'm just kind of left with the middle now, and it's like, you know, several Marvel movies came out. Um, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy is the latest one, Ant Man, and it was like I would have normally have been so excited to see any of them, but I'm just really like, no, don't really have an interest, you know, and I feel that way about a lot of things right now. Like you would think I would be upset about Florida, and I'm just kind of like, oh, well, that's bad. But that's in Florida. And if it was in Indiana, well, there's really nothing I can do about it. Republicans in office, what are you gonna do? Um, so I think that's something else that's really kind of like, I've had a very stressful 2 weeks. I'm on a new team at work, and I'm learning a new facet of my job. I'm not in a new job. I'm not getting paid any more money or less. I'm just doing a different part of the process. If I was making sandwiches before, um, now I'm cutting up the tomatoes and putting them on the conveyor belt for the people that are making sandwiches. Okay, so I'm still part of the sandwich team, but now I'm slicing up tomatoes and onions and washing the lettuce for the assembly line. So it's a little different work, and normally there was a period where I didn't understand it and I was frustrated, and when that would have happened to me before, I would have been angry that I like at myself for not understanding it, and angry that I wasn't being taught right. And then I would be sad and depressed because, why did I do this? Is something I really want to do? And instead, I'm just kind of in this, yeah, it's not the greatest in the world. Like I said, so I'm kind of in this medium, and kind of curious to see what happens. Um, is this really just the blahs? And occasionally we do get the blahs. Um, or will something else come out of it? Will it be turned around? That I don't know. But that's something that I've noticed. Um, I made mention a couple days ago. I bought a vanity for my daughter and I, which again is always a lifeline. It's like my sister growing up. My sister had this canopy bed that was just amazing. It was pink and it had frills on it, like doily lace. It was beautiful, you know. And she had a vanity table too. And so for my daughter, I wanted to get us a vanity, and I've been putting it together this week. It's over there. Um, Yesterday I finished building it, but I haven't cleaned it off yet. And again, that would be something you'd be like, oh, isn't that great? Now you can move your makeup over to the vanity, and you can go to the bathroom and grab that curling iron and the hair, and have a drawer for it. You know what I mean? Like it would be a dream come true, sort of, for a transgender woman. Oh, now I have a place that just like my mom and my grandmother really had a vanity. Um, and again, I'm kind of like now going, yeah, well, I'll get to that eventually. Where there was a time when I would be hauling ass to get this thing done so I could sit there and play. So like I said, it's like I'm not really passionate about it. And again, I don't know if that's just old age or just the blahs or whatnot. I can remember my grandmother would sit and smoke all day long when they were retired. She would sit at the counter and do crossword puzzles occasionally, but she would sit there and smoke and just smoke. I mean, look at the wall, smoke. My grandfather would sit and look out the window for hours, and I'd be like, "How are they doing? How are they doing?" And now that's what I find myself doing. Sitting down, like my son here is on my feet right now. I could sit here for hours and just stare out the window. So again, I don't know if it's age and stage. I don't know if I'm becoming boring. I don't know. But that's where I'm at. One trans at middle age. And it's time for me to get up and go to work, believe it or not. So I'm going to go do that. Work from home. So I'm going to turn this off and wish you the best of luck. So hang in there if you're in Florida. I can't imagine this asshole being reelected. He's pissed off too many people. But you never know. The long-term strategy is going to fail. So it's going to suck for a while. As far as the second thing, me being boring, uh, maybe I'm just becoming boring. I don't know. Till next time. Boring is not exciting, but it's not bad. It's the life equivalent of Barry Manilow. You know, it's not good music. It's not bad music. It just is. All right. Till next time. American Bandstand. I write the songs. Bye.